If you're receiving Social Security right now, what I'm about to share could mean the difference between keeping your full monthly check and watching it disappear without warning. The Social Security Administration just rolled out critical compliance requirements that millions of retirees don't even know exist yet. Missing this deadline doesn't just delay your payment, it can permanently terminate your eligibility for certain benefits you've spent decades earning. I'm talking about real consequences that are already affecting thousands of Americans just like you. The clock started ticking the moment these changes took effect. And here's what nobody's telling you. The SSA won't send you multiple reminders. They won't call to warn you. You'll simply see a letter in your mailbox or worse, notice your deposit didn't arrive. By then, it might be too late to fix it. The 10-day window I'm referring to isn't arbitrary. It's tied to specific reporting requirements and verification processes that the SSA now mandates. Whether you're currently receiving retirement benefits, survivor benefits, or disability payments, these changes apply to you. Let me break down exactly what's happening and what you need to do right now. Now look, I need to be completely honest with you because your financial security is too important to sugarcoat anything. What's happening right now with Social Security is creating a perfect storm of confusion, and the people who are getting hurt the most are the ones who've played by the rules their entire lives. You worked hard. You paid into the system for 30, 40, maybe even 50 years. And now, when you need those benefits the most, there are administrative hurdles popping up that could jeopardize everything you've earned. The Social Security Administration has implemented new verification protocols that require immediate action from beneficiaries. And the problem is that most people aren't finding out about these requirements until it's almost too late, or in some heartbreaking cases, after they've already lost their benefits. Let me paint you a picture of what's actually happening across America right now. There are retirees in Florida, Arizona, Texas, Pennsylvania, and every other state who've been receiving their Social Security checks like clockwork for years, and suddenly those payments just stopped. No warning, no gradual reduction, just gone. When they call the Social Security Administration to find out what happened, they're told that they failed to respond to a critical notice or didn't complete a required verification process within the specified time frame. The devastating part is that many of these people never even received the original notice, or they received it but didn't understand how urgent it was, or they thought they had more time to respond. The SSA is dealing with massive backlogs, outdated systems, and staffing shortages, which means that getting these issues resolved once your benefits are terminated can take months. And in some cases, certain benefits cannot be reinstated at all. Here's what's really going on behind the scenes. The Social Security Administration has been cracking down on what they call improper payments, which is government speak for money that goes out to people who may no longer be eligible or whose circumstances have changed. Now, in theory, this sounds reasonable, right? We all want the system to work properly and ensure that benefits go to the people who truly qualify. But the way they're implementing these verification processes is catching thousands of innocent retirees in the crossfire. They're sending out notices that look like regular mail, not like something urgent that requires immediate action. These notices get mixed in with all the other junk mail, Medicare advertisements, and solicitations that seniors receive every single day. Some people throw them out thinking they're scams, because let's face it, there are plenty of scammers out there trying to trick seniors with fake Social Security correspondence. The 10-day window I mentioned isn't just about one specific issue. It's connected to several different scenarios that could be affecting you right now. If you've had any changes in your life circumstances over the past year, you need to pay very close attention. Did you move to a new address? Did you get married or divorced? Did you start receiving a pension from work you did that didn't pay into Social Security? Did someone in your household pass away? Did you travel outside the United States for an extended period? Did you start doing any part-time work or consulting? All of these situations can trigger verification requirements from the SSA, and if you don't respond within their specified time frame, they will suspend or terminate your benefits while they sort things out. The burden of proof is entirely on you, the beneficiary, to prove that you still qualify for your benefits. Now, let's talk about what happens when you're dealing with survivor benefits, because this is where things get especially complicated and where that 10-day deadline becomes absolutely critical. If you're receiving benefits based on your deceased spouse's work record, the Social Security Administration periodically requires you to verify that you haven't remarried, that your circumstances haven't changed, and that you're still eligible for those survivor benefits. They might send you a form that asks detailed questions about your living situation, your income, and your marital status. This isn't just a formality. If you don't return that form within the deadline they specify, which is often just 10 days from the date they mailed it, not from the date you received it, they will automatically terminate your survivor benefits. And here's the kicker. Once survivor benefits are terminated due to non-response, getting them reinstated requires you to go through the entire application process again from scratch, providing all the original documentation, death certificates, marriage certificates, and proof of your relationship. This can take months to resolve, and during that entire time, you're not receiving any income from those benefits. Disability beneficiaries are facing similar challenges, but with even higher stakes. If you're receiving Social Security disability insurance or supplemental security income, you already know that the SSA conducts periodic continuing disability reviews to make sure you still meet their definition of disabled. What many people don't realize is that the agency has ramped up these reviews dramatically, and they're now using much shorter response windows than they did in the past. You might receive a packet of forms asking for updated medical information, details about your daily activities, information about any work you've attempted, and contact information for all your healthcare providers. The instructions will tell you that you have 10 days to return these forms. If you miss that deadline, even by 1 day, the SSA can initiate a cessation of your disability benefits based on your failure to cooperate with the review process. They don't have to prove that your medical condition has improved. They simply stop your benefits because you didn't respond in time. Fighting this kind of termination requires filing an appeal, requesting reconsideration, potentially going before an administrative law judge, and the entire process can stretch out for a year or more while you're left without any income. Then there's the issue of representative pays, which affects hundreds of thousands of beneficiaries who have someone else managing their Social Security benefits on their behalf. If you're a representative payee for an elderly parent, a disabled family member, or anyone else, the Social Security Administration requires you to file annual reports accounting for how you spent the beneficiary's money. These reports have strict deadlines, and the SSA has become much more aggressive about enforcing them. If you're even a few days late submitting your representative payee report, the agency can remove you as payee, freeze the beneficiary's benefits until a new payee is appointed, or in some cases determine that the beneficiary should be receiving direct payment, which might not be appropriate if the person has cognitive impairment or other issues that make them vulnerable. The 10-day window often comes into play when the SSA sends you a notice questioning something on your report or asking for additional documentation. You have to respond immediately with the information they're requesting, or they'll move forward with terminating your authority as payee. Let me tell you about the overpayment situation, because this is causing absolute panic among retirees nationwide. The Social Security Administration has been sending out overpayment notices claiming that they paid people too much money at some point in the past, sometimes going back several years, and now they want that money back. We're not talking about small amounts either. Some retirees are getting notices claiming they were overpaid $20,000, $40,000, even $60,000 or more. The notice typically gives you just 10 days to either pay back the full amount, request a waiver, or request a payment plan. If you don't respond within those 10 days, the SSA will start withholding your entire monthly benefit check until the overpayment is recovered. Imagine living on a fixed income of $1,500 a month, carefully budgeting every penny for rent, food, medications, and utilities, and then suddenly that entire check just doesn't show up because the government claims you were overpaid years ago due to some administrative error that wasn't even your fault. This is happening to real people every single day, and the only way to fight it is to respond to that initial notice within the deadline and request a waiver or appeal the overpayment determination. There's also a huge issue affecting people who receive both Social Security retirement benefits and a pension from government work where they didn't pay into Social Security. This is covered by something called the Windfall Elimination Provision and the Government Pension Offset, which are complicated formulas that reduce Social Security benefits for people who have these types of pensions. The Social Security Administration has been conducting audits to identify people who should have been subject to these reductions but weren't, and they're now sending out notices demanding repayment of benefits and reducing future payments. When you receive one of these notices, you typically have just 10 days to provide documentation proving what type of pension you have, how much you're receiving, and whether the SSA's calculations are correct. If you don't respond with detailed documentation within that window, they'll implement the reduction based on their assumptions, which are often incorrect and result in much larger reductions than necessary. Now, here's what you absolutely need to do right now today to protect yourself. First, you need to check your mailbox carefully every single day and open every piece of mail that comes from the Social Security Administration. Don't assume it's just formational or that you can deal with it later. Read every notice carefully and look for any mention of a deadline or required response. If you see any language about needing to take action within 10 days, within 30 days, or by a specific date, that is your top priority. Drop everything else and handle that immediately. Second, you need to create a My Social Security account online if you don't already have one. Go to the Social Security Administration's official website and set up your personal account. This allows you to see your benefit information, check for any notices or alerts, verify your payment history, and communicate with the SSA electronically. Having this online access can give you earlier warning about issues than waiting for paper mail to arrive. Third, if you receive any notice that you don't fully understand or that seems to be claiming you owe money or that your benefits will be reduced or terminated, do not ignore it and do not wait. Contact the Social Security Administration immediately by calling their national number, or even better, schedule an appointment at your local Social Security office to speak with someone in person. Bring the notice with you. Bring your identification. Bring any relevant documents and get clear answers about what's being claimed and what you need to do to protect your benefits. If the deadline is approaching and you can't get an appointment in time, send a written response to the address on the notice stating that you received it, that you're working to gather the requested information, and that you're requesting an extension of the deadline. Send this by certified mail so you have proof that you responded within the time frame. Fourth, consider getting help from a professional who specializes in Social Security issues. There are attorneys who focus specifically on Social Security, disability, and retirement benefits, and many of them offer free consultations. There are also non-profit organizations that provide free assistance to seniors dealing with Social Security problems. The National Organization of Social Security Claimants Representatives can help you find qualified attorneys in your area. Your local area agency on aging may have counselors who can help you understand notices and respond appropriately. Don't try to navigate complex Social Security issues alone, especially when your financial security is on the line. The bottom line is this: The Social Security Administration is not your friend right now. I know that sounds harsh, but you need to understand that they're operating under tremendous pressure to reduce costs and eliminate improper payments. And they're using automated systems and rigid deadlines that don't account for the reality of how seniors actually receive and process mail. You cannot assume that everything is fine just because you've been receiving benefits without problems for years. You need to be vigilant, you need to respond to every notice immediately, and you need to protect yourself by staying informed about your rights and the current policies that could affect your benefits. Your Social Security income is probably the foundation of your retirement security, and losing it, even temporarily, could be financially devastating. Take action now, today, to make sure you're not going to be one of the thousands of retirees who wake up one morning to find their benefits have disappeared.